What a good education does for you is you become a lifetime scholar in one way or another. Maybe with a small s, maybe with a published big S, but it's that liberal education, and it's in that scholarship, I believe, where the great joys of life occur. You know, when you come from a family that has no high school diplomas in it, and you're on the south side of Chicago, there's one thing you know for sure: I don't want to stay here forever. And I was very lucky that I worked for a very wealthy Jewish country club in Flossmoor, Illinois. Started out, as a caddy cleaning the toilets, and the president of the club, God rest his soul, turned out to be a great philanthropist who never got a tax deduction and no plaques to hang on the wall. His name was Nate Winsky. I applied for college in May of that year, just months behind everybody else. And he said, "John, we want you to stay here at the club or you'll be a manager here someday. It's a pretty good gig." I said, "Mr. Winsky, I got to find a way to go to college, so I'd like to work for you." He said, "Why aren't you going now?" I said, I don't have the money. Hard story for me to tell. The next Saturday night, he opened my little tuxedo and put 10 $100 bills in an envelope. Okay? And I came back to that club when my mother died 20 years later. Just drove through to see what it looked like on a cold winter night with lots of snow. And as I opened the front door, as I grasped the handle, the door opened and all the lights came on. It scared the hell out of me. And it was an accountant, working in the back. He said, "I know who you're looking for." You couldn't possibly know who I was looking for. I said, "I was the head doorman here back in the 1950s. And he said, "Son, do you know how many kids have come through that front door? Hundreds of them, looking for Mr. Winsky." That's where philanthropy started for me. I vowed that night that if I ever had the resources, I would try to emulate what he had done for one kid from the south side of Chicago. For someone setting out, the hardest gift my wife and I ever gave in our entire life was $100, first gift, 1961. We must have talked about that for 3 nights before we set that check off. So I would like to think that most educated people would realize that no matter what they paid for their education, no matter how much student debt they have, I believe it's a moral obligation to give back to the institutions that helped you become what you are, and start early. Well, each iteration of our philanthropy gets a little smarter. As I said, our first $1 million gift, all that did was buy me a ticket to the game, because the memo of understanding was very poorly done on both sides. We now require an annual report from both in perpetuity. I want to see where the need is. The way I look at it is this: team resources opportunity. So if I recognize an opportunity and the right team's in place, which many times in higher education it isn't, then we can talk about the resources. And those 3 things together can make real big time changes. So start early. Life is all about what you do with time, treasure, and talent. Hopefully you reinvest your talent in making this wonderful country of ours a better place, which obviously means you got to put some time in. And treasure's part of that, the 3 legs of that stool. Sometimes you have more to give than others, but there's no reason you can't do a little bit right from the start.
Through targeted giving, you can make a difference in higher education. Let the Fund for Academic Renewal guide you through the giving process. Contact us at academicrenewal.org to start a conversation about your next gift.